Hi everyone, this is Random Chat, making yet another video for you guys to watch. And yes, this one's going to be a bit of a rant and rave regards to a short video that I saw on Facebook. But before I go into the subject that I'm going to talk about, I want to just air my sort of views on what I think of Keir Starmer. I don't know if you heard all about Starmer and his little devious plan, but apparently he wanted to hand over Britain back to Brussels, totally erasing everything regards to Brexit. He wanted to give this country back over to Brussels so they had full control of Britain once again. This meant the borders would be fully open to the whole of Europe, and anybody who wanted to walk into this country could do so and take British jobs. But luckily, Nigel Farage found out about it, about the secret little emails that slimeball Keir Starmer was sending. They were apparently leaked out and handed to Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage then involved the King Charles, in which he put a stamp on it. Keir Starmer is such a fucking slimeball that he wants to just hand over this country to give our Britain away. He's already done that regards to all the asylum seekers and illegal immigrants coming here, domineering the country. And that fucking asshole, deviously behind our back, has decided he wants to hand this country back to Brussels. He needs to go. He is a bigger threat to this country than what any extremist terrorist group could ever be. So Keir Starmer, resign. Get the fuck out of 10 Downing Street. You are the most hated Prime Minister there is. We don't want you. Now fuck off. Now that's my little bit of a rant and rave regards to Keir Starmer, the little slime ball. Now let's talk about the subject that I'm going into. There was a clip on Facebook, on the real clip. I don't know if any of you watched them on Facebook, and I couldn't believe what the clip was about. If I was told it by somebody, I wouldn't believe them. But what I'm going to tell you is very genuine, and it shows how bad this country has got. There was an elderly gentleman sitting at a table outside somewhere, and I'm not sure if it was a pub or a cafe, restaurant, something like that. He was approached by the police and basically questioned. The reason for the police approaching him was because he had allegedly asked somebody to speak English. One of his family members, I think it was filming what the police were saying, and she explained to the police he didn't ask the person to speak English. He asked them to speak slower English because obviously the person he was talking to wasn't British. She said he had difficulty with hearing and he could not understand what was being said. But the person in question contacted the police and said he had told them to speak English. And why the police had turned up, it was to give him a warning, because telling somebody to speak English here in Britain, in which our language in this country is English, is now classified as a hate crime. If you cannot understand what is being said to you by somebody who is not British, you are no longer allowed to ask if you could speak to somebody English. So basically what this means is, if you cannot understand the person because they are not British, you are not allowed to say, can you speak English? You're committing a criminal offence and you can be arrested and put in prison for it. So what this means is, if the person you are talking to is not British and you cannot understand them, you have to tolerate it and put up with it. And this is wrong, being here in Britain, because the first language of this country should be English. You are perfectly in your rights to ask to speak to somebody English if you cannot understand the person that is talking to you. But unfortunately now, we're not allowed to do that. Like I've said in my last video, at present I'm between jobs, and I had to go into the job centre basically to tell them what I'm doing and tell them what interviews I've attended. And out of 6 staff within that department were 3 Nigerians, I believe they were. Now, attending something like this in a job centre, communication is the main vital thing. You need to be able to understand what is being said to you, and the person you're talking to needs to understand what you're saying to them. This is not the case anymore. I cannot ask to have a work coach who is English, who is British, because doing so means I will be committing a criminal offence. So wanting to get understood in your own country could end you up in prison. But does it work for them? If one of these people come to this country and can't understand us and ask us, can you get somebody to speak Nigerian? Would that be a hate crime towards British people? And the honest answer to that is no, it would not be a hate crime towards us. And this is what I mean about the country being so bad these days. The fact that the British people are being pushed to one side. Our language is no longer the first language of this country. So it's becoming slightly ludicrous that the fact that if you are British, you have to keep your head down and keep your mouth shut. And you have to tolerate what's going on. We are being controlled on what we can say. How long will it be before it's controlled what we're allowed to think? Keir Starmer has done so much damage to this country. He is one massive fucking dickhead because he is meant to be proactive for Britain. And all he wants to do is destroy Britain and the British people. And what makes matters worse is our police force fucking bows down to him. He tells them to jump and they want to know how high they should be jumping. Surely these people should be out catching real criminals, not harassing elderly people for asking somebody if they could speak clearer English. Our taxes are paying for them to keep us safe on the streets. And are they doing this? Like fuck are they? I don't see why our council tax should be used to fund the police who are doing fuck all for us. They're not protecting us. They're not supporting us. Oh yeah, we see them fucking supporting Islamic rallies side by side, or we see them dancing around at gay pride rallies. But when you are concerned about your daughter or your wife because of sexual assaults and harassment that's being carried out on a day-to-day basis in this country, well, basically it's fuck you. You're on your own. And I'm not the only one who feels this way about the police and the government. I think the vast majority of British people do. Yes, there are a few maggots who are lefties who bow down to Keir Starmer and kiss his ass, but these people don't live in the real world. These people live in a little safe bubble, probably have never been outside of anywhere other than their very posh upper class areas in their very rich big houses with their security cameras. You know the type of people say there's nothing wrong with black people, we just wouldn't want one living next to us. I bet you some of these softies, these anti-protesters, these Keir Starmer ass-kissing morons, if you turn and said you've got a Muslim family moving right next to you in your nice posh area, I'll bet you they'll be soon out saying we don't want them in our lovely luxury area. It's a different matter then. So basically, the first language of this country should be English. And if you want to get understood in your own country, you have that right. Harassing elderly people, threatening them with arrest, telling them they could be classified as carrying out a hate crime, is seriously taking the piss, really. What about the hate crimes that's carried out in this country towards the Western world, towards us, the British people? Nothing is said about that. Nothing is done about that. So one elderly gentleman asks somebody to speak clearer English, and they're down on him like a ton of bricks. Britain has become a joke. I hope with all these rallies that are going on, eventually the British people will take control of our country again. I hope eventually the people running this country will open their eyes and wake up and see that we are sick and tired of being pushed to one side, threatened to keep quiet. The people of Britain will no longer put up with what's going on. The vast majority of the British people have had enough now. Things are getting out of hand. We should not be threatened by the police for speaking out against what's going on. We should not be threatened of arrest for protesting against a crime carried out on children. We should not be threatened by the police of arrest for asking somebody to speak clearer English. I have a t-shirt on now that says if this flag offends you, I'll help you pack. The amount of people yesterday when I went to Chippenham fully agreed with what was wrote on this t-shirt. One guy stopped me in the street, never met him before, and he said, "What is that on your t-shirt?" So I opened my jacket a little bit more so he could read it. The response I got was, "Too fucking right, they all need to be sent back." That is the attitude of the British people now, because of how we are being made to feel within our own country. Because this country is being invaded, and it is being taken away from us. As I said when I was in Chippenham yesterday about the people that commented on my t-shirt, one of the things I noticed in the town was how many Africans there were walking around the town now. But not only are there loads more Africans within this small town, Chippenham, Wiltshire, the amount of Muslims that are growing in that town, all walking around in their pyjamas, in their headscarves. The numbers of Muslims and Africans have grown rapidly over the past 2 years in this town of Chippenham in Wiltshire, and they're also growing in this town here where I live. It will come to the stage in which the English language is no longer the language of this country, and when you've got police harassing people, threatening them with arrest for hate crimes simply because they could not understand what was being said to them, what chance do we have within our future of getting understood in our own country, because we are no longer allowed to say anything about it. We have to put up with it, tolerate it, and just put on a false smile and pretend we are accepting it. Well, I'm sorry, we, the British people, are not accepting it. We are sick and tired of it. We've had enough. We want our Britain back. We want our culture back. And I think if Keir Starmer is not too careful and keeps going the way he is going at destroying this country, then the British people might start getting violent, which I hope doesn't happen, because innocent people will get involved. At the moment, it's peaceful protests. Well, I say peaceful protests. They're peaceful until the police agitate things, so the finger of far right can be pointed at the protesters. And the legal system will do its best to try and stop us. You've only got to look at the issue recently with Tommy Robinson, in which he was attacked, and defending himself, he was the one that was arrested. And what do you read about Tommy Robinson? Headline about the far right extremist. He's not far right, he's just British, he's English and standing up for his rights. That's not far right, that's not an extremist. That is a person that is very concerned about what's going on here in his country, our country. But it's quite convenient, isn't it, that this assault on Tommy Robinson happened so they could arrest him for using reasonable force, which technically you're allowed to do to defend yourself against an aggressor. But the press are making it sound, and the police, that he was in the wrong. Why? The simple answer is to this is because they want to stop him appearing at rallies. And conveniently, he gets arrested quite close to September's rally. The plan is, in my views, is to charge him with this assault and get him put away for at least a couple of months so he cannot attend this huge rally in September. I think the attack probably organised and deliberately put in place, and I wouldn't put it past the police to have something to do with it, and I definitely wouldn't put it past Keir Starmer to have something to do with it. But you will not shut Tommy Robinson up, no matter how much you try. Tommy Robinson has got one big set of balls. He will speak out about what's going on here in Britain. So well done, Tommy Robinson, if you see this video. Hopefully you might repair Britain's backbone. At the moment it is broken in two. So that's my latest rant and rave about what's going on here in Britain, especially about the elderly gentleman being harassed by the bloody police for just wanting to get understood here in his own country, because he had not committed any criminal offence. I don't give a shit about this stupid hate crime law. Unless you're directly preaching hatred, asking somebody to speak clearer English is not a hate crime. So Keir Starmer, you can take this law and stuff it up your ass. Because if we want to get understood in this country, it is our rights, because this is our country. And the English language is what we speak. And if you don't like that, well, that's tough, because that is the language of our country, Britain. Well, that's my little rant and rave over and done with. If you fully agree with what I've just said, then give this video a thumbs up and make sure you hit that subscribe button. And feel free to add comments and share your views on what you think or how you feel about what's going on here in your Britain. Because if we don't start taking control of what's going on, our English identity will soon disappear. The Scottish identity will soon disappear, and the Welsh identity will soon disappear. We all need to stand together and stand up for who we are, and stand up for our country, and say, this is our country. Well, that's it. This video is over and done. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Random Chat. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.